Ah, hello there. Greetings. My name is Josh Alexander, as you already know. I'm the founder and CEO of Revenue Studios, as well as a lot of creative things around the space in East Orange and Newark, if you will. And so, welcome to a year in review. I think it's very important to reflect on, where you are and what you've done. So, 2023 was a very interesting year for me creatively, but more importantly, I did this 3 years ago in 2020. So I started to reflect on, COVID and also some other things. I managed to complete 3 projects, and it was very rare because, prior to that, for school, people were doing it for a grade, so you kind of got people to kind of band together to complete stuff. But outside of school, people don't owe you anything. And so 2018, I did a project called Rain, and that was probably the only project prior to 2020 that I kind of completed. Um, to a certain extent. There's one scene missing, but that was like an extra scene that I wanted to have the actress, because she was going on vacation. So say, hey, record some time of you having, some excitement with your family and your friends and your cousins and all that stuff, but never got the footage. So that kind of ending didn't happen. But in terms of that, we finished the film. So that was the only film leading up until 2020 that I completed. Um, and it was rough in 2019. I helped people, produce their projects and worked on them. And then when it was time for me to get it, oh, I have a class, oh, I have finals. And so no one really wanted to help me. So I ended up making a project for PSA for depression called Long Way from Home. And so at the end of it, I cried because of the emotion and what I wanted to do. And, I joke a lot about it is because, I filmed the church service, not knowing to my pastor. And so when you look at it, you're gonna see that she comes up to me to to listen because he thinks I want to tell her something. But I'm like, no, I want to join the church. So for the film, I had my mentor record me joining the church and getting a standing ovation and all that stuff. But it's actually paying off, believe it or not, on that side, in terms of that. But other than that, that's just a side note. And so, 2020 was very interesting. It was very fun. And I kind of want to pick up where I left off back then. So 2021, riding off the heels of the success of shooting 3 projects, Black Heart in August, Royalty in October, and the Guerrero Brothers in November. And so, 2021, a friend of mine wanted to do a project for his class, a grade. And so we ended up doing Streets College. Now, unfortunately, Streets College, it's still in post production. We haven't found an editor that can actually complete the task. People say they're going to edit it, they start, and then they finish, and then life takes over. And so that has ever, been the problem. Of course, if I was paying these people, then maybe they would have been a little more obligated. But even that's just like, damn, like, you know, I guess your word isn't your bond anymore for certain people. So that project is in limbo for the last 2 years. We shot that in April and we kind of completed it then. Maybe I might have to do it. I just have so much on my plate that I might just have to bite the bullet and just edit the film because it ain't gonna get done, by anyone else's means. And so after that, we ended up doing a 72-hour competition in June. Uh, that project was very interesting because I learned about the different bit rates for cameras and color depth and keeping it in the lens family. And so I used the Sony A99 Mark II, and I used the Minolta lens here, the 50. This is my bad boy. This is, I love this lens a lot. So I used that, but I also used the Sony FS7, which I'm filming on right now. And so that has a different quality. I thought, Sony cameras, if I shoot an S-Log 3, I can match it. I probably could, but I'm not a color grader. So, different lenses have different coatings, different looks, and so you're definitely gonna tell that when you switch from one scene to the next, you know, it doesn't kind of look the same. It looks a little more different. But that was a learning experience. But also, sound was an issue because, no fault to the actress, but she had a very sweet, soft voice, and so, the wind, drowned it out. Her voice in the cars is so loud on my block, so, I didn't have good audio reduction equipment in post. So, it's very hard to hear her without subtitles. And so that was a learning experience of like, finding better ways to, do sound better, and also, make sure that, the actresses or actors project their voice, which they're supposed to be doing anyway, but you want to make sure that they're always doing that. And then a few days after that, we did Dearly Beloved, you know. Dearly Beloved is still the highest viewed film that I have, just because the actors shared the work. They told their family and their friends. We had like a private premiere and everything, and so I checked up to now today. It has like 900, views, which isn't a lot, but compared to the other projects that have been out longer than that, 900 is impressive for someone who doesn't have a high viewership. And so that project is kind of, borrowing a little bit of inspiration from the Breakfast Club, the Come to Jesus moment. Everyone is kind of, for the most part, going through having, you know, Saturday detention, and they have to write a paper, and then they're able to quote unquote, write about the essay and learn about each other, and all that stuff. So that was a very good, fun project. Some actors, I think a lot of them are on their way to becoming great. Um, and then we started filming the web series in 2021 in August. And so that was crazy. Having a special needs character for the first time. I didn't, know how to write that or how to do that. And so Charlotte was a character that was going through aphasia. She had a stroke. And so she didn't, she couldn't talk. And so she was holding on to a stuffed animal and saying, no, and no, and, getting very violent. And so that was very fun that it could have led into something else. But, I learned that when you're shooting short films, it's easy to get people for like a day or two. But for people to come back like a web series, it's a lot harder when it's continuous and you have to do multiple scenes and shots and all that stuff. People kind of get restless. They want to move on to other projects and other things. And so that was a learning lesson. And that project didn't end until the beginning of this year. So it's actually been a year, a full year went by, and a couple of months that we've been filming that process. And the last film that we shot in 2021 was Cassandra. I shot that on Sony FS7, and that was my second black and white film. My first black and white film was a project that I did for school called the Chamber Twins, and so that's like a black and white cop drama where these kids are kidnapped, and so these twins are investigating to kind of find the twins and the kids and all that stuff. So that was a fun project. So Cassandra, which was like a murder mystery. Actually, it was Penny at first, but I couldn't find an actress to play Penny because Penny had a certain look and feel. So I ended up changing it to Cassandra, who's is a white lady. So it's kind of the same story, just a different character. Rewriting it and changing it. Kind of sorry that I had to do that, but it worked out the best way that it could do. And I learned as well as that project as well. So sound for some reason, like I don't know what it is, but the sound was just a little irky jerky. Like I don't know if it was the mics that I had that weren't like very good, but you hear like a little bit of like static or something like buffering or whatever. And so whenever they switch to a different camera angle, um, in post, you hear like a like a pop. So sound is always difficult. It's always something that stresses a lot of filmmakers, and I only just got the hang of it last year, 2022. Having the again better mics, having a better sound recorder, and having audio reduction equipment to kind of fix some of the errors. You never want to fix it in post. You want to fix everything that you can on set, but that's not always the case with posters. Sometimes where you do your best work, but I like to do stuff in house the day of shoot if we can fix it, and then in post you might have to do like a little bit of reduction or whatever. But that's it. So 2022, is the web series. I talked about it on the pre-show, so I won't mention much about that. But a lot of issues that I had where an actor lived 30 minutes away, didn't show up, screwed me over. When you had another actress that flew in from Texas, what I'm saying. So you have a lot of people that are committed. So when people try to spin the narrative about non-paid or low pay, whatever, people are not interested. Like if they really want it, if they're really serious about it, they're gonna come. You know, another actress flew in for another project this year from California. So they do exist. You just got to pick them out. You got to find them. You got to make sure that people are serious about doing this thing. Because if not, you know, you don't want people that are going to waste your time. People are that are that are not serious because you're gonna get more of a headache because they're not on their P's and Q's and all their T's aren't crossed and their I's aren't dotted and all that and nonsense that they say. So you just gotta make sure that you find people of quality. It's definitely quality over quantity. I know that we want to have a lot of actors and a lot of people around us, but quality people, man. Because all that is just noise. And you don't want that. So filming wise, um, we did a project in September for a 24-hour film competition, the film festival. And, this guy is a joker because, up to now, we don't know who won. That won, and we did it again with some other friends, and, we don't even know who won again. So the guy's just wasting our time. But, shout out to Marcus Evans for doing that. We used his script and we did No Come Down. So some of the actors that we used from the web series or other projects that we didn't get a chance to get them and we used that for that. And so, shout out to all the actors that came through because, shooting these 24-hour competitions are hard because you don't know what the theme is until the day of. So you have to have actors ready to just shoot and go. So people that are available to just film like that, it's totally amazing. So, shout out to everyone that can do that. Most people can't. So we shot that uh, in September, like I said, and then we were doing the web series all last year, and then we finished it early January, the last day. We were supposed to finish it last December, but the host got COVID, and so we had to cancel and try to rework the finale. And so I'm glad that the web series is over. I don't want to ever do it ever again. It's just, it's not hard. It's not also easy, but it's challenging when you're at a level where you don't have what you need, the resources that you need, the people that you need. It's a very tough and rough thing, but you break through, you make it through. I'm very determined, I'm very ambitious, and so I don't really give up. I could have canceled and said, well, when people were flaking out and I couldn't get it, I could have said, what, this isn't for me, because I've canceled projects before when actors drop. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going through the stress, so that's scrapped, and you move on to something else. But I believed that the story needed to be told, no matter how many times people gave me the hard work, and I wouldn't have never had the story to tell if I didn't get a chance to film it, if I didn't get a chance to do it. So that's why I'm happy about that process of doing that. Um, and so we shot, like I said again, in June, a 24-hour competition with 3 filmmakers. So this is actually the first time that all 3 of us, were acting in the project. We've worked together. Me and Marcus Walker all the time. Shaquan as well. I helped him out with some of his projects I shot last year. He did a web series called That's My Brother. So I filmed the opening season 2, episode 1. I think it should be on YouTube. If it is, you can check that out. So I DP'd that for him. Previously in 2019, we actually did. We were supposed to do 3 projects, and it bled into 2020 part of COVID. So the first project that we did in August was Shaquan's project and her artist. So Shaquan and Marcus wrote that, and Shaquan directed it. I DP'd, and also Dimitri is another collaborator who is a friend of Marcus, who's a graphic designer as well. And he does some photography and music video shoots, all that stuff. So he's dope. So check out his work as well. So he shot a part of the scene. So whenever I can't make it, Dimitri comes in and he does it. And so um, it was great. It was great. That's still in post production. I'm not sure what that is, but hopefully that'll come out soon. I have the footage, so maybe I can edit it too if it's some editing problems. But other than that, I leave it up to the people that need to do it. And then I believe in October we shot another project. So the idea was to have 3 projects that all 3 of us can do and collaborate on. So we've got 2 out in 1 year. So the second project was to catch a case with Marcus and myself. I wrote it. along with Marcus, and Marcus directed it, and DP and Dimitri shot that one because I couldn't make it. I had to do something that day. I think it was like a breast cancer walk I had to do for my church. So he shot that. They completed it, and then we bled into 2020. In March, we were supposed to shoot this project called 357. This little cop comedy type thing where these people are, supposed to be watching a house for like like a victim and like a murder case or whatever, but they goof off and the person gets killed. So now that's going to be turned into a feature film. So those of you who watched the little teaser on Christmas Day, that's now a feature film. We didn't get a chance to film it as a short film, and so now we're going to turn it into. So most of the projects that you'll see were short film ideas. Exactly, Blackheart was a short film that I shot, and now that's going to be a feature film to kind of elaborate more on who Blackheart is and the girl Zora. Um, and some other ones, Jocelyn and Janelle, we shot this year, which was always going to be a feature film, but I wanted to shoot like a little proof of concept. So that's what that was. And so we shot that in September this year, and the lead actress came through from California. So shout out to her. Shout out to Bria for coming out to shoot that, because again, coming from Cali to New Jersey for no pay, it's difficult. But again, if people are serious about it, they're gonna come through. So that's why I don't believe in, and I don't feed into that nonsense, because people are determined, people are strong-willed. If they want it, they'll be there. So don't believe in all the hype and all the bullshit that people tell you. It's just simple like that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much 2023. Oh, damn, how could I forget? Before that, in March, I shot another project called Soul Glitch, which is also going to be a feature film as well. So Soul Glitch was a project that I shot specifically for um, this crew member that wanted to be an actress, Emily. So I made a project around her and her mother. So it's actually funny to have a mother and daughter duo, because they're almost inseparable. So I put them two in the movie. So it's actually their first project. Also, the mother too, her first time being an actress. So both of them got a chance to shoot this, and so that's gonna come out. Well, the short film version that we shot in March is gonna come out very soon. Should all already be out by this video, but I don't know. But that's on Patreon. So if you don't have a Patreon and you're not subscribed, you're not going to see it. So, but don't worry about it. But um, yeah. So now that's going to be a feature film. So we're turning some of these things into ideas, that concepts, and pushing them forward. And so that's pretty much been my 2023, my year. Um, Even though the web series is over, there is a new chapter, the Alexander clan. So I shot a couple of scenes with that. So we shot one in August, we shot another in November, and so we're gonna finish up that little chapter next year, summertime. So that'll be out, and then yeah, that's really it. There's no more web series. There's no more short films. It's just strictly feature ground. So we're already in the process of writing features. I wrote some features during COVID in 2020, 2021. So I've always had features on my mind. It was just that short films were quickly, they were easy, they were very, you didn't have to work too hard. You didn't have to think about a bigger budget to shoot something real quick. But feature films is the grounds of where your expertise and your skills are really put to the test. And I can do it. I fund everything. So why not? I just fund something that's a little bit more bigger. Obviously these are going to be bigger budget paid projects, and so everyone that has worked so hard and sacrificed their time and energy are brought up to the feature realm. um, there are a lot of actors that I worked with that I want to bring up. Some gave me a hard time, so that you won't get a call. But those who worked hard will be rewarded. It's only right, and it's only fair. you know and maybe you don't, you don't want to work with me, so that's totally fine. So it's definitely no hard feelings, definitely not any slights, definitely no shade. It's just what it is. In this business is really about who you know, and the relationships that you have with people, how you treat them, what you say, what you do will always be remembered. And I talked about this plenty of times, on the Talk That Talk podcast, as well as the prelude to that, called Telling the Truth. Like, I don't gossip. I don't, you know, be messy or, do anything. I just say what it is. If it's the truth. If you're a nasty person and you did something nasty, I'm gonna let other people know, like, hey, watch out for so and so. And I'm pretty sure people are gonna say the same thing about me. Hey, Joshua does X, Y, and Z. That's fine. That's perfectly. I know that people don't change. Everyone kind of says, oh yeah, I changed. I'm different, but the core of who you are and what you do, the attitude, the little idiosyncrasies and things of that nature, you don't change. Because if you don't believe that you did anything wrong, why would you change? It's only when people bring it to your attention and say you, hey, stop doing this, don't do that, where you really feel like, oh, maybe I'm tripping, maybe I need to change, maybe I need to work on myself. So that's really what it is. It's just simply just people not really understanding what it is. And so I realized that it's not my place. You know, I know that I want to put the fear of God. I know I want to be that person that, is correcting everyone, but it's not for me. It's out of my hands. Someone else will deal with it. I do what I can to address some of the issues and problems that are so bad that it'll ruin your career to some people, but other times, like, listen, if this is how you feel, if this is how you treat me, I can't imagine how you're going to treat someone else. So, you do what you can and you help those who you can help. But other than that, people will do what they want to do. That's just simply what it is. It really boils down to how they feel. If they meet you for the first time and they're kind and they're respectful and they're loving, then that's just who they are. But if they're nasty and they're rude and they're, acting like divas and divas, then that's who they are in the inside, and there's nothing you can do about that. But say, okay, thank you, not again. When I was young, my parents and also my aunts had this saying, there's a thing called next time. And I take that to heart and I adapt that. There's a thing called next time. Because next time, your black ass ain't going to me. You know what I'm saying? You're not coming with me to Georgia or Canada or you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much my philosophy. There's a thing called next time, right? So next time, it ain't gonna happen. Or next time you're not gonna catch me off guard. Or next time you're not gonna do what you're gonna do. You know? So that's just simply what it is, man. You just gotta build your career. You really gotta build who you wanna be and just do the best that you can and don't let people quote unquote fuck it up for you. You don't allow people to mess it up. You don't allow people to pretty much, change who you are on the inside. I know who I wanna be. I know where I'm headed. I know I'm going to make it because I'm hardworking. I know that I put in the work, that I don't cut corners. I take the long road and I put in the work, and it shows. I've been doing this for a very long time, over 10 years. I may have not gotten into directing stuff until, 2015, and got my first camera in 2017, but learning the trade, writing scripts, doing, different gigs and things of that nature prior to that, I'm doing this for almost 10 years. So you see different things, even when I was, doing music and art and animation, you deal with people all the time. People make, promises that they can't keep, what is the saying? They're trying to cash a check that their mouth can't run or some shit like that. So, people say a lot of things that they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk, you know. So it's just like it is what it is. Yeah, I can't say anything else but that. Which is okay. It is what it is. And there's a thing called next time. So that is my year in review for 2021, 2022, 2023. And I'm excited for 2024. I'm excited for what comes next. Big projects are coming. And you're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm not telling you anything. Even telling you that I'm doing features was a little warning. Was nice, what I'm saying? That's the generous side of me. Like, hey, we're moving on features now. But I should just bust out a feature film. Oh my god, Joshua does this now? Yeah, what I'm saying? Like, just be surprised. Just see what is gonna be in store. When you start seeing these deals are coming in, you start seeing me on TV in movie theaters, maybe even Tubi. You got to start somewhere, right? You might see me on Lifetime, you might see me on a Hallmark channel. Movies are movies, but I know I'm going to produce good quality work. You watch my short films, you feel the characters, you feel the storyline. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the business to make things last. I'm in the business to tell stories. I'm in the business to transcend history. You know, one of my favorite artists is Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson can be played for any occasion. Graduations, weddings, parties, funerals, depends on the song. But, you know, Michael has been out since the 60s. He died in, 2009, right? '09, he died. So his music is still, Thriller is still one of the best selling albums of all time. You can play for Halloween because Thriller was played for Halloween when it was for Party City. So, this guy has a catalog. Another one is Stevie Wonder. This guy has been playing since the 50s, 60s as well. This guy has had songs in each decade. Now, he hasn't done anything really in the 2010s, but at least from the 70s to like the early 2000s, Stevie Wonder has had songs scored for movies as well. So I want my stories to be played for generations to come. People love watching The Godfather and being studied, and Star Wars, and Citizen Kane, and The Shining, and Rear Window, and The Birds, and Psycho, like all these movies that I just named are classics that you have to watch for film class, especially Citizen Kane, and all of Alfred Hitchcock's movies are studied for film. Stanley Kubrick. So I want me to be studied. Like, oh my God, this movie that Joshua made. Let's dissect the frame. Let's talk about the character. Let's look at the lighting. The cinematography work. The shot duration. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are scared to use wide shots and long shots. Everything is close-ups. For me, I think close-ups are overrated. They're only there for emotion. So if your character is not reacting to something, or you're not showing any type of, emotion, use a medium close-up, please. Why, waist up. It's fine. You'll be safe. You know what I'm saying? You don't always have to go for the head. Use your shots. Use your things. Use your wide shots. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot that I studied in school, that even outside of school, YouTube, practicing things that, I want people to look at and feel. So I'm just a person that just wants to create stories. That's just the bottom line. That's all it is I just want to just be somebody that people can look up to and just say, oh my God, his movies, I like them so much, and the stories and the characters, and I'm here to create universes. I'm here to create timeless classics. Only time will tell. So I will see you all in 2024. Have a happy new year. Continue to work on your craft. Continue to be who you want to be. It's very easy for life to derail you. Very, easy for people in the industry to derail you. You want to go to Hollywood, you want to be this big actor, and they know that. So they'll try everything that they can to get you off your horse, to destroy your integrity, to destroy you as a person. All these stories that we hear about producers doing sexual assault things and weird things and blackballing them, and doing all these rituals and shit like that. It's because they have power, because they have control. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you're looking to do or accomplish, it's very easy to lose yourself. It's very easy to get blackballed. It's really easy to get shaded. Just the other day, Taraji P. Henson talked about how much she's getting paid as an actress. And she's been doing this shit for a long time. So people will undercut you. People will try to put you in a box and don't, if you don't know your worth, if you don't see who you are, then you're gonna have a very hard time. The writer's strike and the actor's strike happened for a reason. It's because people want to be paid what they're owed, and they deserve it. So work hard. Don't cut corners. It might seem like it's a shortcut, you know. And one last piece of advice I want to leave with you is don't be afraid to share a piece of your heart. A lot of actors, a lot of people, a lot of directors put up these walls, and they sometimes can be very inward because they don't want to be used or they don't want to be played. And even though I did say that, you have to know yourself, but read the room. If you know this person isn't going to help you, then obviously you shouldn't open up yourself to someone who's going to abuse you or use you. But when you're starting out, you have to trust, you have to build relationships with people, because like I said, this is a business about all who you know. And so you don't want to go in a habit of jumping ship too quickly or burning bridges early, because you never know. This person that you're working with now might be an asshole, they might be unbearable, but you don't know where their life is going to take them. You don't know where they're headed. That in a year from now, they can get their shit together and they will remember you and how you treat them. So be careful. Don't burn bridges very quickly. Don't, throw people out. Don't, trying to move on from project to project. You must be building relationships, building reels, especially actors. Keep in contact with your directors. Keep in contact with your producers. You guys are very quick to network with other actors and support them, but don't forget to support your people that are trying to be on the up and up too, your writers. If your friend is a writer, support them. Be in one of their movies. If you know a director that's trying to get his come up, start acting in some of these student films. You never know. You never know who they will become someday. We hear stories all about, Lee Daniels' story and Tyler Perry's story, Spike Lee, Quentin Tarantino, you know what I'm saying? All these directors started from something. They were all nobodies. They were all trying to make it. They were all probably snotty kids. And it's nothing more embarrassing for you to treat somebody like shit and you need them later on in life. Like, oh shit, isn't that so and so? Yeah. And some people have a long brain. I'm one of them. I have an elephant brain. I don't forget shit. I may let things go. I might smile on your face. I might shake your hand. But in the back of my mind, I remember what so-and-so did. And it's not any slight, and it's not to hold grudges. It's just that there is no expiration date on disrespect. And like I said, people feel like they don't do anything wrong. So they'll disrespect you. They'll move on, and they'll forget that the shade that they did, or they talked wrong about you, or they did X, Y, and Z. But then they'll come back and need you for something. And then they want that person to be the bigger person. Well, you should have been a better person. So now I don't gotta up you by debting this grudge or this spite or this debt or whatever that we had, this beef, this gruff. So be careful. It's a very small industry, and it's about all who you know. And you don't want to be headed somewhere and your career takes a hit because you did some fuck shit in your past that comes back to bite you. So treat everyone with respect. There's a quote that I saw in 2018 when I was working with Jumpstart, these kids reading to them, and classrooms and kindergartens and all that stuff. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. I'll see you soon.